As you know, zero illegal migrants.
We should stop, calling the voters neo-Nazis. These are people who protest with their vote. So we have to take this serious and we have to try to address that.
I'm very concerned about it because it seems to be targeted on one group of people, people who have a problem with immigration. They're really being targeted right now. They're being clamped down on.
The biggest threats to our survival today and the threats to our freedom are the European Union, mass immigration, and this terrible Islamic ideology of submission and violence.
Freedom of speech, our fundamental democratic right, is on life support.
Angela Merkel was inviting them. They don't pay taxes, they don't want to work. Most crimes committed, percentage-wise, committed by illegal migrants.
Racism, poverty, drink and social media. We still don't know why Britons rioted a month ago and we need answers.
Whatever happens in America, 6 months later, we have it in Europe, right? Guys in addresses, wokeness in full scale.
With Keir Starmer, this is Operation Warp Speed Destruction. This is it.
If Donald Trump wins, we have a chance to back to normality.
It's not a phenomenon only of East Germany. People don't feel as affiliated as in the West to the traditional parties. We have problems in rural areas. We have a sentiment of migration, which many feel is too strong. Criminality has increased. So there are many factors which are feeding in to this sentiment. The war in Ukraine, the cost of living crisis, all of this is creating a feeling that the life has become more complicated, that maybe the situation of their sons and daughters will not be as good as their own situation. How can we win back the protest vote? Only by delivery. And this is what needs to be strengthened. We have to deliver. I think delivery is the key issue.
I'm very concerned about it because it seems to be targeted on one group of people, people who have a problem with immigration. They're really being targeted right now. They're being clamped down on. And yet I hear people on the other side of the argument being allowed to spout all sorts of nonsense and real misinformation and not receive any kind of kickback at all.
There's some extraordinary celebratory scenes outside Britain's prisons where in some cases serious career criminals were released. And this to make way for, yes, rioters, but equally those who've said unpleasant things on Facebook and elsewhere on social media. Does the Prime Minister understand there is a growing feeling of anger in this country that we are living through two-tier policing and a two-tier justice system?
Everyone is just terrified. What is happening now is a fear, different kind of fears. COVID, they tried to fear the whole world, lock us down. Terrorism, and then radical Islamists. Fear is present, so we have to free ourselves. We need politicians who do not afraid of calling things as they are. And I think we have to fight for normality, for the normal language. When I see the world, September 11 and many terror attacks in London, then stabbings and rapes in Germany and in England now, every single day, we have a news in Europe that someone was stabbed, raped, killed. And this is just a fact. And my problem is that clerics do not react.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, freedom of speech, our fundamental democratic right, is on life support. All around the world, we had the CEO and founder of Telegram being arrested. You've had Elon Musk having a pop where basically the EU tried to silence him before that brilliant bromance interview with Trump. And you've also had him being shut down in Brazil. I think it's 40 million customers in Brazil. And what happens if they try to access their X account, they get fined up to $9,000 if they use a VPN. That's crazy.
Keir Starmer, this is Operation Warp Speed Destruction. This is it. Tories used to kind of at least pretend. They used to pretend that they were doing the right thing. Whereas Labour just they're more transparent. It's just this is what we're doing. You're going to have no freedoms at some point to say anything unless it fits our narrative.
You go and steal something from a shop or whatever, well, it's all right, you just carry on. Nick a phone off somebody in the street, they don't even look at that sort of stuff. The problem we've got at the moment is they're now basically criminalising thought. And Yvette Cooper was saying just in the last few days exactly that sort of stuff. It may not be a crime, but if there's sort of hate speech, we're going to clamp down on it. So on that sort of basis, it's really, as I say, freedom of speech is in a critical condition.
Information technology is too important to be controlled exclusively by the rich and the intelligence agencies. The DSA and our framework of rules must set a path for a surveillance-free, private and secure way to take part in the online sphere. That is the goal, not unilateral decisions about individual imprisonments and attempts to surveil anyone and everyone.
I'm one of the most qualified members of the European Parliament to talk about social media platforms. As myself, I'm a social media influencer by profession. I will propose that we encourage the platforms to create organic fact-checking systems to inform their users about the validity of the information they receive. Now, in an era of artificial intelligence, more than ever, we need to focus on what is actually true, not by censoring, but just by letting people know the fact and freely decide.
I am angry about what's happening, and a lot of people are really angry about what's happening. Europe is starting to get angry, and nothing's getting done about it. Look at Italy; they've just right-wing government. She's done nothing.
She's done some stuff.
She's made the right noises. There are still thousands and thousands of migrants coming in every single day. I have friends in Cyprus. They said it's just full of Syrians. You just need to have guards there on your borders, and you just say no, you're not coming in. Just like they did in COVID, when healthy people weren't allowed to travel. They did it then, they can do it now.
Yeah, that's a fair point, actually.
We're watching our country being ruined, and this is an awful thing that happened. The riots went way too far. We all know that.
Yeah.
But just listen to the root cause of where it's coming from.
The shortage of labor should be solved with legal migration. And that's what we are advocating in Europe, and even Europe now is advocating the so-called legal pathways. So we strongly believe that we should combat illegal migration because we think that member states should decide under international law who is going to cross their borders and not smuggling groups and traffickers.
Racism, poverty, drink and social media. We still don't know why Britons rioted a month ago, and we need answers. Really? You have no idea why people rioted? You think that across the country people suddenly got so racist that they rioted, but they've somehow become less racist since because they stopped rioting? Or you think it was booze, that people got drunker than they've ever been before on a Tuesday, and this drunkenness made them riot? Or you think it was misinformation on social media that said the killings were committed by an Islamist asylum seeker? Of course, the mainstream media were quick to correct this, saying that Axel Muganwa Rudakabana, whose parents are Rwanda, was born in Britain, so he's completely British. I mean, yeah, he's probably the most British person of all time. If I was to pick the most British people of all time, I'd probably say Hugh Grant, the Queen, and Axel Muganwa Rudakabana. The left are completely blind to the fact that many people don't like to see children stabbed to death. They're also blind to the fact that not everyone is delighted about our country having completely open borders, welcoming in 1.2 million new arrivals every year, many of them illegal, many of them from radically different cultures. Some of these arrivals don't integrate and instead commit crime, sexually exploit children, form parallel societies. Britain isn't a country anymore. It's a borderless economic zone where anyone is free to come and go as they please.
If you liked the video, please like and subscribe to spread more awareness. Share your thoughts in the comments below and join the conversation. Your engagement helps us bring more content to light. Remember, stay informed, stay engaged.